If someone told you, you don't want to hire me, I'm hard to manage, what would you do? Well, the person who said that statement about 3 years ago to a department head here in the Auburn University College of Human Sciences is now the recipient of a prestigious national award on the Ones to Watch list. And yes, she got the job. Welcome into the Halls of Spidle. I'm Kim Hendricks. This is a segment where you meet the people in this college. We're talking about the faculty and staff, alumni, students, friends of the college who through their hard work and dedication are improving lives around them and changing the world. Our guest today is that self-described hard to manage, also award-winning assistant professor in interior design, Taneshia West Albert. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad they didn't listen to you back when you said that.
Me too, actually.
I know, I'm sure. Tell me what led you to say that, and knowing you just a little bit now, because we both started about the same time, and then COVID, as we like to say, so we haven't been face-to-face that much. I have a feeling it has to do with your spirited work ethic.
Yes, let's call it that.
Yeah.
Well, when I came to interview, the funniest part about that statement is that teaching at Auburn was my dream job. When I came as a grad student for a conference here, I thought, wow, that's amazing. They're pushing boundaries. They're doing really wild and crazy things in interior design. I would love to work there, but it's never going to happen. And but that thought about interior design and what interior design could do, those were the seeds were planted there. And so that's how I've looked at my career. That's what I've done in my career, is really looked at pushing boundaries and improving systems, improving myself. And when I went into education, I did that for my students. Yeah. So I just felt it was
fair warning.
Fair warning.
Exactly.
Let Dr. Ulrich know that that's the kind of person I am. I'm driven. I see what interior design can do. I'll push my students for change within the field, and that's difficult.
Yes, yes.
And it's difficult to manage those type of people who really have a vision of change in an industry. So I just wanted to be warned.
Exactly. Yeah, we're talking about Dr. Pam Ulrich. She's the department head of Consumer and Design Sciences, and she said, yes, we want this. We want this spirit. We want this passion. And so now here you are, involved in an interior design program that is ranked really high, number 3 in the South, always in the top 10 nationwide. Yes. Consumer and Design Sciences as a whole always ranks really high. What makes this program stand out?
There are so many things. One of the aspects that we really pride ourselves on is our connection to industry. Our students, from the start of their education, are just embedded into the professional industry. Our partners come in, they critique their projects, they give presentations and seminars. We really believe in creating professionals, and not just professionals that can do the things that interior designers have to do. And we hope, we believe, and I think the results show that we train them really well to do the things that you have to do as an interior designer. But we also really train them to critically think and to really analyze communities and people, their end users, their clients, see what the needs are beyond what's being told to them, and then really look for something that's brilliant about that opportunity for design and really amplify that. And so I think that's really what makes us top consistently in rankings.
Well, and the word is out. We have a lot of students coming this way, and we're so thankful for that, for sure. Let me get back to the award, okay? I said a prestigious national award. You were just given this from the American Society of Interior Designers, known as ASID, and I see your face because she can't believe this has happened. Everyone around her believes it. You are on the 2021 Ones to Watch list in the field of interior design. Only 20 interior design professionals were given this. You're the first person at Auburn University. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And a lot of it is based on professionals who represent authenticity, innovation, leadership, inclusion, and a dedication to the profession. What did you think when you heard this is you?
I was like, what? That's not me. who are they talking about?
You went, wait.
I did. I looked over my shoulder a little bit. Well, it was a huge compliment.
Yeah.
I mean, really, to be nominated, someone nominated me for this program, and it just goes to show that you never know what impact you make on other people. But someone nominated me, and I was like, oh, me? No, just kidding. And I honestly didn't think I would make it to be an award winner. It was a really thorough process, I have to say. And then when you look at past cohorts, they're amazing.
Yeah.
You have people from the top firms that are, I mean, really trailblazers. And so to be among that type of company it's really humbling. And then not only to be given the award, but to be asked to be one of the 8
Scholars.
Ones
to watch scholars.
Yes.
A little pressure there to be a scholar. It's hard for me to sit here by you and ask questions that even sound intelligent. No.
Oh, no. Look, did you forget who you were talking to for a minute there?
We are so proud of you, and we celebrate with you, really.
Thank you.
This distinction means you get to go into a 2-year leadership development training program with an emphasis on mentoring those who are underrepresented in this industry. Underrepresented. How needed is this, Taneshia?
Oh, it is. It's everything to me. It's one of my missions to really matriculate more BIPOC students into interior design. To look at interior design and have our professionals and our professions reflect who we're serving. I think it's monumental. There's been so many times where I was the only person in the room that looked like me, the only person of color. The only time I didn't have that happen was when I was in Washington, D.C., when I worked up there, and when I worked in St. Louis for a Black-owned architecture firm or consultant for them. And it was really an entirely different experience for me. And so often you feel when you're the only one in the room, you're fighting this uphill battle, and to be surrounded by people in Washington, D.C. and in St. Louis that, understand. There's just something about that. There's some magic and synergy that can happen too in design. When people have a similar background and context that you have as a designer, and that doesn't always translate to cultural ethnicity. Sometimes that translates to socioeconomic backgrounds, and that's another area I believe we as interior designers should, reach into our pool of candidates to pull people with different socioeconomic backgrounds, more diverse socioeconomic backgrounds. But it is everything.
You'll do a beautiful job with that mentoring, and
thank you.
I want to hear about some of the mentors who have been in your life in just a moment. But first, let's talk about the unusual path that brought you into interior design, because when you were a little girl, some people will say, when I grow up, I want to. You didn't see this path even as a young college student.
No, not at all.
Tell us a little bit about what you wanted to do first and what caught your attention about interior design.
So the joke in my family is that since I was 3, I was going to be an international corporate attorney.
Okay.
I thought I was going to be Claire Huxtable, but I grew up in a lower SES community in Sacramento, California, and there was a 3rd-tier law school there in our community, and so my safe haven was going to the library, and eventually, I believe it had to have been a professor there. Told me I could go to their law library, so I started going there and reading the Constitution. I thought, all 7-year-olds go and read the Constitution, right? But as the first person to go to college in my family, I was really the hope of my family. And so for most Black first-generation students, it's, being an attorney or being a doctor or a nurse. For a lot of women, that's our path to financial stability. And so that was my path. And I pursued it doggedly for many, many years. Throughout my undergraduate studies, it expanded. I had lovely mentors. Jamila Jefferson was one of my mentors in undergrad, and she worked for a top law firm in New Orleans. She's now a professor too, but I had really wonderful mentors to help shape that career path for me.
Yes.
But then I studied abroad for a year.
Yes, and things changed a bit.
And
yes.
things changed a bit, and I remembered all of the spaces that really started to shape my life. And I remembered how important it was for my mother and my grandmothers to always have, you know, really well-designed spaces, no matter what little they could afford or could not afford. And so that idea that everyone deserves really great design started to come through me in a way that I couldn't ignore anymore.
Yeah.
And being in New Orleans, I went to Dillard University for undergrad, and it's a historically Black university, and there's so much history on that campus. Every building tells a story. I was fortunate to live in one of the oldest dorms. I was fortunate to walk up and down the greenery just on campus where these 100-year-old oaks were, and you can't ignore what your environment says to you after a while. You can't ignore how important that is. And it all just came together when I studied in Spain, and I got to see these really old spaces.
Yes. It's amazing how your eyes opened to everything around you suddenly, and you saw the importance of that.
Suddenly, I mean, when you're standing in a space that Queen Isabella stood in, and King Ferdinand, you can't ignore the importance of that space. And that's just where it changed to me.
Yes.
I believe every community deserves, and everyone deserves, really great design. And I started to understand that the design of a community is actually, it can be a barrier for you, or it can be an entry into something that's that next step into what you can develop your life to be. And so it's really access, right? It's really about equality. It's really, design is really a social justice movement, and that's where it all kind of came together for me.
Wow. Well, you went on to get your Master of Fine Arts in Interior Design at Florida State.
Yes.
And we won't hold that against you at all, because we have you now here at Auburn University. But I want all new graduates to listen up to this, because you got your master's, and then people want to hear, and then you stepped into this beautiful job immediately. Well, you worked for free.
Yes.
You offered your skill set free of charge. You volunteered. Your work caught somebody's eye, right?
Yes.
That gave you your first paid job. That's important to hear, because this is a different time, graduating during a pandemic.
It is. And I graduated during the Great Recession, at a time where design professionals with 15 years of experience were losing their jobs, and or having to be underemployed. And so you just have to be creative. That's that problem solving. And in truth, I had just had my first child, and I was home with her for the first year of her life, and I just needed to get out of the house. Sometimes that's what happens. But I was really lucky that I was really tenacious. It wasn't luck. I was very tenacious. I called up the facilities department at Florida State and said, can I just come and work for some hours a week? I would love to. And they said, well, we don't have an internship position available. We don't have a job available. It's past the time to sign up for credit. What do you want to do here? And my answer was, I just want to work. And so I was in space and leasing under Laureline Pinkerton, who was an amazing, amazing mentor. It's amazing how you collect mentors, on-the-spot mentors, lifelong mentors. But she gave me a project and said, show me what you can do. And I think I impressed her.
You must have.
I must have.
Just tell us about the job that came out of that.
So from that, actually, Laureline really pushed to have me paid as a contract position, a temporary contract position. And from that, she encouraged me to apply at the Library of Congress. And it was really that experience working for the owner, what we call the owner, and understanding spaces. And I also worked a little bit for design and construction, facilities design and construction at Florida State too. But understanding that from the owner's perspective, and also my previous business degree, that's what I think attracted them, that you understand the business case of design, which I think is crucial. So for all of our graduate students, I always tell them, what makes you different? What makes you unique? Even our undergraduate students who have, this is their second undergraduate degree and they have a previous experience in something else, our graduate students that are coming and recrafting their career too as first professionals. What's the thing that makes you unique? Because I think if you look at your story, there's something there, even though it looks like you've been moving through a jungle gym.
Yes.
There's something there that makes you special. And I think that, that at Florida State, that's what got me that job at the Library of Congress.
Yeah. Well, and it's this passion and tenacity and any other descriptive adjective you want to throw on this incredible assistant professor. This is what the students see in the classroom. So share a little bit with us about your teaching philosophy and what you want your students to understand.
That's a really good question. So beyond the idea that there's a perspective that they have about design, I really want them to understand that design isn't only about making spaces pretty, right? It's about critical thinking, and it's about change. We're literally changing communities, and we're changing people's lives. So the two things I tell my students when they come in my class is that I want them to be competent, and I want them to be critical thinkers. And there's going to be a big transformation when they come into my class. So my classes aren't about just getting the A. And this is why I told Pam not to hire me. My classes aren't about just doing the work and getting the A. Everything is created, it's all situated for them to actually transform, to be a different person when they leave my class than when they came in, to build their critical thinking skills, to build their compassion for each other, for their end users, for their communities, for other communities. It really is growth, and it's scary, yes. And it's a risk that they're taking. It's a risk to come outside of their comfort zone, and I tell them they'll be uncomfortable, but it'll feel like they're leaning over a cliff, and that's how doing great things should feel. But that I have a safety net under them that they can't see. I will catch them. I will make sure they don't go astray. I really want them to transform what failure is in their brain, and failure really is not trying. Failure really is not taking a risk. And so those make for difficult classes. And it doesn't matter what class it is. It could be my theory class. It could be my technology class. It really is about taking that risk.
It's really teaching them they're more capable than they even know. Mm-hmm. Is this something you would say the mentors throughout your life, you've mentioned some, and I know you've told us you've already established a really good family of mentors right here in your new family, the College of Human Sciences. Is that something they poured into you along the way?
Oh yeah, I really do. I'm very, very fortunate. I feel like our department is really, we just mentor on the spot, and I feel like I've been mentored on the spot. I have a formal mentor, Vina Chichaman, and please, I hope she forgives me for pronouncing her name wrong. We're very much on a first name basis in our department, in our college. Yes. I know, but like in our college, I love that. Yes, we are all on a first name basis. It really does feel like a supportive family. And so I feel like that in my department. But Vina really has taken me under her wing, and it's a formal mentorship that Dr. Kerpelman set up. But even before it was formalized, even in all the things that Vina is doing, and I mean, she is amazing, and everything that's going on, she was mentoring me. And so I'm really, really fortunate to have her. When I first met her, I was in awe of her, and I still continue to be. But it's such a supportive college. Human Sciences, like I said, it feels like a family. We're all on first name basis. Even between programs, you see someone, you're like, everyone's like, hey, how's it going? How's this? It's really amazing.
I'm so glad that you said it, and you said it so well, because that is what we want prospective students to know. Faculty, if you're saying, I would love to work in this College of Human Sciences, we are family, and you feel that in every way, right?
Yes.
Yes. Taneshia Albert, thank you so much for taking the time and for the impact you're making on our students of today. And I know you don't even like hearing this, but truly the impact you're having on the design industry as a whole. And for your award, congratulations. We can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And thank you for taking the time to watch. Be sure to go to the website you see right here at the bottom of your screen and check out more about the interior design program, more about Taneshia and that award, and all of the programs within the College of Human Sciences. If you would like to get engaged in any way, please reach out to us. We'll see you next month. Until then, with another edition of In the Halls. Take care.